Hey guys, welcome back to Thread and Glue. I'm coming today with part 2 of our steampunk cover, and you'll notice the covers that I have here are not what they looked like before. Before, they looked like this, and we had carefully matched our papers and the shapes in different places, but I did decide, after playing with this sample piece, to try a couple of things, and so I have changed what I'm doing. And I am painting them both with raw umber. I'm using Master's Touch raw umber, and you get that at Hobby Lobby. It's a pretty thick acrylic, that's why I used it, so I don't have to do multiple coats. So far I've gotten the 2 side pieces done, and we're ready to go on to our middle section here. So we will paint that. And all I'm doing is I'm just taking the straight paint, and when I'm painting it, I'm making sure I get in all those little cracks and crevices, but not leaving clumps of paint in there. So you have to make sure that when you roll over them, you're not leaving anything. Because it will leave lumps in there, and you don't want that. That's not the look we're going for. So just paint away. Make sure you've gotten the sides. I did that before I came on. I made sure I had the sides done all the way around. And this is just the beginning of the cover, guys. This is not even close to the finished part yet. So don't worry, I'm not leaving you with just paint. I played a little bit with I need just a touch more paint out here. Not much, just a touch. That's more than just a touch, but we'll probably find a use for it. So even though some of these, you remember, were textured papers, I won't feel that same texture anymore. But the ones that had prints in them that were raised and lowered prints, I will still feel those in it. So it will give a different texture than what I was thinking, but it will still be a texture. Okay, see right there I had a little puddle of paint trying to happen in that corner. Just rake it out and just spread it out across the rest of it. You just don't want that to settle there. Okay, I think we've covered that one pretty good. So we'll set that aside and let it dry. And put our paintbrush in our water. I will pull out one of our panels that we did, and I'm going to start on this side of it because it dried a little longer. I'm going to use this 3D fabric paint that I got at Dollar Tree. I got it in a black, and all we're going to do is in every corner of the papers, we're going to put a little bitty dot of the black so it's raised up so it looks like a little nail head trim when it dries. So just take your time and make sure that you've gotten that all in there, and I'm having trouble seeing it, so I'm going to need to lift it a little bit. It's a lot harder to see it on this brown than it was on that textured, the regular textured paper. You don't need a whole lot of it, but you do need enough to notice it. We are going to be putting something over this, so it's not critical, and I just slid that one, so I wiped it right off. The 3D effect is what you're after with it. And like I say, this was just $1 at the Dollar Tree, so it's not much of an expense for a project. Okay. The ones that wrap around the edge just get the corners that are on that side. Alright, we're doing it. Once we get these on there and they dry, then we will be ready for the next step. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to do a step before I did this black. Let's pause. We'll leave those alone, but we'll go back and do the step we were supposed to be doing. I totally forgot. Okay, I'm going to set that aside and we'll use the other one. I'm going to take Tarnished Brass Distress Stain Spray. Can't believe I forgot to do that. That was the whole point. Okay, we're going to have paper towels handy, and we've got a Q-tip. So we're going to open that up and dip our Q-tip in our distress stain. You don't want too much on it at once, but you do want enough to let it kind of show. Just rub it over it pretty good, like this. I know it looks bright and bold right now, but don't worry, we're fixing to do a little rubbing to it. Okay, before you get too far, you want to go in and just kind of rub around on it and fade it out in the background that way. We're just getting a little bit of an aged look with it, and that's the purpose of doing it. And so keep that in mind, and don't go too far because that stuff does dry pretty quick. Be careful around your corners. See the difference in the paint color? It's going to give it a whole nother look. And that's what we're going for. We don't want just flat brown. We want an actual aged look of aged metal. Go. That's a big square on this spot, so we're going over just sections of it at a time. Rub it in, do circular motions, kind of soften it. If you need to dip your Q-tip again, dip it. Okay. You'll get different levels of it, and that's okay. It's just a difference of how long it stayed on there and dried before you rubbed it, really. But all metal has different levels, so that's fine. I'm going back over some spots that look like they could use a little more, and that's what you're doing. You're just playing with it until you get it just like you want it. I don't like how that did, so we're going to go over it again. Leave that there just for a second, and we'll go over here. Still looks a little funny there, doesn't it? It's holding a little spot there. I don't want it to. Put more in there, just in that spot. Staying away from those edges of it if we can. I'm gonna have to leave that alone and come back to it, I think. You could just as easily do this with a paintbrush as you could with a Q-tip. I just thought it was easy to fit the Q-tip down in there. You could also use waxes. The only reason I didn't go with the wax was because I didn't want it to be too bright, too vibrant. And the waxes tend to be that way. They're very, very bold. We want this more of a subtle look. You know, I'm going to change Q-tips. That one's getting kind of furry on me. Okay. For us, the outer edges are the most important because the other parts are going to be covered with parts of what we're doing. So if you have any problem areas, just hope they're on the middle. and dip again. Get some more. Okay. It's okay if it kind of pulls a little bit in your cracks or your crevices. Okay. This is kind of streaky over here, so I'm going to go opposite direction of it, the way the streaks are going. See if we can't fill that in just a little bit better. Yeah, that's better. Okay, that's what we're doing before we do our black dots. I should have gotten that straight. Don't do the black dots first. This will be so much easier to keep them nice and crisp if you do it first. Okay, we're going to set that one aside and pick our other one back up. And I'm going to get a paintbrush and try it just to see if there's a different look that it gives me. I think I want a little bit bigger brush. Okay, this will work. Let's start down here since we've got the dots up there. Boy, it sure spreads a lot easier. Alright, be sure you wipe it up, sponge it up. There we go. That's looking good. I like that. Go ahead and dip your brush again and get ready to do the next side. You're going to do this to all the sides of both the front and back cover and also the center spine. The spine is separate. We've got it separate for a reason. So I'll tell you that when we get there. We will go back over these little black spots that we already did because they need to be black, but it will be easier just to go back over them and do them again instead of trying to avoid them. So avoiding them is hard. Dot, 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 pat, pat, pat. I like the look better with the brush, so try it with the brush and the Q-tip and see which one you like better. But I think the brush gives a smoother, nicer finish. I guess it may be because we're able to put it on quicker and go back to it quicker. Possibly. Or it could be the fibers and the Q-tips. You just don't know. This is definitely a lot nicer finish. So much nicer. I love that. Wow, what a difference. Let me show you the difference of the two up close. This is the Q-tip. It's more jaggedy and rugged where we put stuff together. And this is the regular. So it's fine. It won't really matter once we actually get the next step done. But if you wanted to leave it at this step, it looks better with the brush. Okay, let's go to this one and flip it over and repeat the process on the back sides. Okay, pat, 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 pat. I did try this with bronze instead of the brass, and there's just not enough of a contrast for you to even notice it. So that is why I'm using this instead of bronze. Make sure you get in all those little cracks. Those little places where your papers join leaves a little area. You want to be sure you get all of that. Makes such a huge difference on the look of it. It looks more like metal. And that's what we're after. Anywhere where there's a line, keep patting it until you get it kind of cleared up. Yeah, that looks really nice. We got both sides done. Oh, look at our sides, our little corner edges. We need to be sure and get those done. Those will show. Run your brush along them and pat them just like you did with the other. You don't need much on your brush for the edges. But you do need a little. Last side to do on this one. We may have already done it, but I can't tell, so I'm going to do it again. Okay, that's that one. Let's go back to this other one, and we'll flip it over and do the other side. pat, pat. Oh, you're in screen. I was going to be really sad if you weren't in screen. I am working on a glass mat, so it will be easy cleanup. Don't work on paper because it sticks to the paper really bad. You want to be working on glass. I love the steampunk style. It's been a favorite of mine and my husband's for several years now. Alright, let's do all our edges. One last side here on this piece, and then we'll go to our spine and do it. Very nice. Okay, here's our spine. It's still a little tacky, but it'll be fine. I'll flip it over and do this side first. It's very tempting to just keep going on the spine and not pat right away, but you do want to pat right away because you want it to not get too soaked in there that you can't get it to blend. Blending is important. I hope y'all have had a great day. Today has been a sleepy day for me. I don't know what was going on, but I was sleepy all day long. My husband is off tomorrow, though, so I'm excited to get to spend the day with him. It will be very nice. I enjoy spending time with him. It's kind of good since we're married, right? I spent a couple of hours on the front porch with Mama Duck the other day, and that was wonderful. I'm going to have to record some of her talks with me because she has so much wisdom and knowledge that she puts in there. And I would love to have it recorded. I don't know if you guys would like to hear, but I do. Flip to the side, going on, even though it's still a little bit sticky, it's not wet, it's just sticky. So it'll be fine. You can still do your patting motion. And it's not going to pick it all up. It's kind of jumping around on me, isn't it? It's part of that sticky thing. Sometimes your towel gets a little bit too wet, and so you need to flip it. And that's easy enough. It did nothing to our backside, so it's still fine. I'll wet my brush a little bit so I can do these spine edges. These little edges. If you get some on the front or the back, that's okay. Just pat it too. It'll go back like it's supposed to. Okay, I think all we have left is this little end down here now. Get a little color on our brush. It was about empty. Sure you get the corner edges. Now, if you want to go back and go over any of them, now's the time to do it. I think I will on this one that we did first, and we did it with a Q-tip. I think I'll see what it does if I go over it and pat it. Can't be any worse, right? Okay. Pat, pat, pat. Yeah, I think it's giving it a little bit more of a weathered look, so we'll go ahead with it. Okay, that's better. Now you wipe your brush off real good and then put it in your water to clean. Put your lid back on your distress stain, and I'm going to wipe up this excess paint and stuff and get it off here so I do not accidentally of course, rub anything in it. You do not want to put your papers on this while it's wet though. You want to make sure you dry it really good before you put anything on it. Throw those away. I love this mat. It cleans up so nice. I was just using that self-healing cutting mat before, and it's nice, but you can't use it as like a palette or anything like that. You have to actually use a palette separate. And so this definitely is beneficial. It's the big one, and the lefty is what I got because I am, of course, left-handed. Okay, now I can dry that off and we can get started on our dots. Oh, my last paper towel. It's not too good. I'll have to go in there and get me some more. Okay. I think we've got that good and dry. We're going to go to this one since it was the first one we did. And now we can do our little dots, and you can see them easier because it's got that little gold there, that little brass. And this we will have to let dry. We will do it to all the sides. Because we do want it to stay puffy. It's gonna be so cute, you guys. That one goes under, but it looks like it just needs something there, so I'm going to put one. Yeah, still going under here. Okay, so that's the first side. So we have to move this aside and let it dry before we can move on to the next side because you do not want that to smear. So we're going to move on to this one. Oh, I put my lid on it. I don't know what I was doing. Crazy thing. I shouldn't have a lid on there. Can't spray it. Put it out without with a lid on it. I should start over here because I don't like that little piece there either. I need to get some glue. Hang on. Where's my little glue? The glue is taking up the brass. That is weird. Well, okay, we'll have to put that back. Can't have a naked corner. There. Okay. Back to dots. This is really easy to work with. I'm really impressed with this paint being from the Dollar Tree. You want to try to have your dots the same size. If they're a little bit different, that's fine. You just don't want them to be drastically different because that will show. And that one goes under. I really want a dot there though, so I'm going to put one. Because it's going to really show on the outer edges. That's the edge of one there. And the edge of one here. Okay, here's a corner. I guess I put it down here, but I'll leave it. I'll leave it alone. I'm going to put one here in this corner just because I can. Okay, that's this one. We'll let it dry. And I will do the remainder of those two off camera so that next time we come together it will be done and ready. But we're going to do our spine now. You see I had that one was a little bit too small, so I went back in and just put some more. While it's wet, that's easy to do. This is a long piece right here. I'm going to put some dots just because I want to in these other spots. Okay, that's all of this side. So I will do the other side off camera when it dries. But you guys, I hope you're excited about this, as excited as I am about this new journal. I am getting all of the covers ready because we have I will be having a new kit to use with this, a steampunk kit. And I'm excited to use it. So I will look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. This is just part 2, so come on back and let's finish this up. Thanks, you guys. Have a blessed day.